It's sometimes difficult to imagine how this interplay between the Unidroit principles and other legal systems can actually work out in practice. And a few years ago, there was a really interesting case that demonstrated that. It's a decision by the Belgian Supreme Court, the Cour de Cassation Belge, of June 2009. And what happened there was that you had two parties based in different jurisdictions, and it was a contract of sales, and the products were steel rolls. And once the contract had been made, the price of steel skyrocketed because there are huge market fluctuations. So for one of the parties, actually, it turned out to be a really bad deal and they wanted to get out. So they wanted to claim hardship and excessive problem, economic problem for them to perform their side of the bargain. Now, the court system that had jurisdiction here was Belgium. But the applicable law was the Vienna Convention on the International Sale of Goods. Quite famously, that convention hasn't got rules on hardship. So what did the Belgian Supreme Court do when faced with that gap or omission? It said, look, we have to fill that gap with reference to the general principles of international commercial law. So where do they look for these general principles? They look to the Unidroit principles that have 3 rules on hardship, and they just import those into the Vienna Convention and thus come up with a result in that given case. And even more interestingly, Belgian law, Belgian domestic law, also doesn't or didn't in the past accept a doctrine of hardship. Now, many Belgian writers have suggested that this decision of the Supreme Court, that is not based on Belgian law, but based on an international convention, that decision in a way should spill over and be a starting point for a reform or a revision of the Belgian case law that would apply to purely domestic cases. So you might actually even see the outcome that a doctrine of hardship will develop under Belgian law that is ultimately based on the solution of the Unidroit principles.